Is God made of parts? Understanding divine simplicity. You know, when we talk about God, especially in the Christian tradition, we're not speaking about some arbitrary sky deity. We're talking about the fundamental ground of being, the absolute, unchanging, self-existent source of all reality. And that idea, it's terrifyingly profound. Now, here's something that people don't often consider. God is simple. Not simple like easy to understand, but simple in the metaphysical sense. What that means, what the Christian tradition has always maintained, is that God is not composed of parts. He doesn't have traits like we do, as if they were tools in his toolbox. He is what he is. I am who I am, Exodus 3:14. It's not just a name, it's a metaphysical declaration. And this is critical, because if God were made of parts, justice, power, love, knowledge, then he'd be dependent on those parts to exist. But anything dependent can cease to exist. Anything made up of pieces can fall apart. And that's unacceptable for God. That's not a real God, that's an idol. So divine simplicity means something very radical. God is his attributes. He doesn't merely have love, he is love, 1 John 4:8. He doesn't use power, he is omnipotence. Justice isn't a thing he turns on and off. It is his being expressed perfectly. These things don't compete in him. They're not in tension. They are perfectly one. And when you really start to think about that, it's overwhelming. Because we're fragmented, we're full of contradictions, internal wars. Our justice fights our mercy, our love battles our pride. But God is utterly integrated. He's the only fully unified being, which is why we look to him. That's the ideal. That's the Logos, made flesh in Jesus Christ. Now, people get confused here and say, well, what about the Trinity? Isn't that three parts? No, it's not three gods. It's one God in three persons, not parts, persons. And each person is fully and entirely God. They're not fragments of a divine puzzle. They share the same essence. Simple, undivided, indivisible. Then someone says, what about Jesus? Didn't God become human? Yes. And that's where the incarnation doesn't break the doctrine. It confirms it. Jesus didn't stop being God. He added a human nature. The divine nature stayed the same, simple, eternal. What happened was union, not confusion. He was fully God and fully man, without splitting, without mixing. That's not contradiction, that's mystery. And mystery isn't a cop-out. It's a recognition of a reality that transcends our limited categories. So why does this matter? Because if God is not simple, he's not stable. If he's composed, he can be corrupted. But if he is simple, then he is utterly trustworthy. He doesn't change. He doesn't evolve or learn or forget. I, the Lord, do not change. Malachi 3:6. And in a world that's constantly breaking apart, internally and externally, that's the one kind of being you can anchor your soul to. So the doctrine of divine simplicity, it's not just abstract philosophy, it's the foundation of hope. It means that behind the chaos of existence is a God who is whole, who is unchanging, and who, astonishingly, loves you with a love that is not a part of him, but is himself. And if that's true, you don't just owe him your belief, you owe him your life.